and I looked through a lot of other, CAD software, and yeah, man, this is awesome. Oh wow, that's even better. Well, let me ask you a question. That is so cool. Still, it's my information, it's my design, my time. I don't want somebody ripping that off.
Well, I am here with Jay from JPORS LLC, and we thought it would be interesting to do a beginner oriented video, but with someone who also is taking some steps in learning CAD, just to keep me out of my parametric ivory tower. So, thank you so much for having the courage to come on, Jay. How are you today?
Good, good. Thank you for having me. I'm real excited about this.
Oh man, we couldn't have had a better guest. We're grateful you came on. I was on your Instagram. I saw some pretty awesome stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you do. It looks like some casting related work.
What don't I do? 3D printing. I do a lot of 3D printing to cast, whether it be sand casting or investment casting. Uh, Lasering. I recently got into lasering, and I kind of want to combine with the 3D printing some other things to do because I got a few customers that want things. I want to make like light boxes, like with their name, their logo, something for them that have in their shop or their storefront. So I want to learn CAD, and I had gotten Fusion 360, the trial version, and watching YouTube videos, going back and forth, and I'll never forget when I found your software. I called up and I'm like, "How do you scroll the camera view?" They're like, "What?" I said, "Do you have to press Shift and the middle mouse button?" And no, just both mouse clicks together. Just I'm like, "Really?" That had me sold right there because, that's one thing I hate using both things. I guess I'm not really that much computer savvy, as far as always using, the mouse and click this and, I type like Frankenstein, with one finger. You know what I mean? But so that caught my attention, and I started watching some videos, and I saw that it's from what I saw is easier to use. Supposed to be real easy, user friendly, perfect for somebody like me, perfect for other people out there that they're a little shy and it's intimidating. CAD seems very intimidating, but the comfort level is there. Just looking at the way the layout is, extrude, revolve, sweep, just it looks like okay, everything looks like it's clicky. It's not so much, this control D and left click R, and so I'm really excited to try this out.
Hey, that's music to my ears, and that's a lot of the reasons why I fell in love with the Libre when I discovered it too. So yeah, I'm really excited about doing this, and I've seen you've tooled around a little bit with it, and hopefully we can get some beginners on board with us. And again, feel free to stop me anytime if you have any questions, because I'm sure a lot of our viewers will as well. I know you've done some things, but maybe I'll start from the very beginning just to help any absolute beginners that might be watching this. So I'll start. This is our graphics display. We can go to the Alibre home screen, right? And then from here, if I click Create New Part, it takes us into this screen right here. And like what you said, Jay, if I hold my two left and right click mouse buttons, I can rotate my view in this graphics display, and I see three different planes, and they all intersect at this one point known as the origin. And then if I wish to pan, I can hold down my middle mouse button and move my view around, and then I can zoom in and out with my scrolly wheel. So what was your first impression when you opened up a Libre for the first time? Did anything stick out to you?
It looks very user friendly.
Yeah,
Just by the top where it has all the options, it looks very user friendly, and I like the coloring on it. It makes things stand out. It looks good so far. I want to get into it.
absolutely. Yeah, when I've gotten in after I got in working with the Libre, I discovered just how much effort and time went into the user interface and the icons and the images and the input boxes. I was really impressed at how much discussion there was and effort there was to try to make something pretty streamlined. So for any newbies watching, I'll just run through the basics of what the general CAD workflow looks like. I have 3 planes, right? I can select a plane, and then I have this button here to activate a 2D sketch. And I have a few tools, right? I have a rectangle, a circle, an arc, and I can put these tools together to come up with something meaningful. Maybe I'll make an arc here. And once I make a shape with lines or arcs, I can use our solid tools here. I have extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, and helix. And for extrusions, just like that, I can take my sketch and I can pull it right out of the plane, much how you would actually extrude something, and then click OK and generate a solid. So the general workflow is we create sketches and then they become solids. So you've used the extrude command. I'm sure, Jay, have you used revolve, sweep? How are you on some of these other tools? Have you heard of them, used them before?
I've gotten to the point where I was actually able to use extrude, where I made a box and I was able to, make 5 millimeter wall thickness around, but it took me like an hour, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, you're sitting there, YouTube University, you're going back, and what did the guy say? Because he's going so fast, you got to rewind it, then a commercial pops up, and it was a bad experience.
100%. I really relate to that because when I was in school, I felt like my university didn't teach CAD enough, and I was left to kind of fend for myself. And I had the same experience. I'd be on there for hours, get almost nothing done. I'd be clenching the vowels off of my keyboard, and and it was a slow process. So hopefully we'll make this easier for the next people. So we did extrude. We can do a revolve too, right? I have this axis right here. You'll notice where we have 2 planes that intersect, we have an axis that also goes right through the center of our graphics display. And I can tell it, let's do a revolve, and I'll select the sketch that I want to revolve, and then it asks me for what axis I want to revolve around. And it revolves that sketch around that axis to make a circular shape, right? Very good for something if you're going to lathe it. And so we can pull things straight out of the sketch, but we can also revolve around an axis. Sorry. Oh, you bet. Loft is a cool one. I have sweep first, right? So we can extrude, but what if we want to extrude down a certain curvy path? Well, I can go onto a plane here, and maybe I can create a... So when I do a spline here, I choose this spline here. I see your spline by reference points. This is if you want to make a spline just as a reference that doesn't actually sketch anything. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's what I was doing wrong. All right.
Yep. And then I don't know. I don't want to steal all the glory if you want to draw it, but.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. So I'll grab a spline here. And I can make a nice gradual curve.
So when you let go of the mouse, the click button, that's when it creates the point?
Yeah, I hit the escape button and it takes it to the last point that I put down.
Okay.
And then if I deactivate my sketch, it's so much easier to do it with someone, I think, isn't it? Perfect. And then on the XY plane here, I'll activate a sketch. And I'll just make a shape for you. I like your idea of a rectangle. And then I say, you know what? I want my rectangle to go down the path of the spline that I just made.
Well,
so that's
cool.
Where I can choose sweep. And then I'll choose a path here. And just like that, we've been able to make a rectangle that follows that path.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that something? I really like this format. Do you want me to just keep working on you off your screen and record this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, perfect. There's another tool that's really cool here. I'll mention to the beginners watching this, on our left side we have what we call our Design Explorer. I often refer to it as the history tree as well. And the history tree will have your axes in here, right? So if you want to do a revolve, you can select an axis around here. If you want to do a plane, you can choose your X, Y, X, Z, ZX, and so on. But you also have a history of how you made your part, right? So there's the sweep that we've just done. And there are the sketches that we made to do the sweep. And at any point, we can right-click and edit our sketches. And if we make a change, then those changes are captured in our part. So we can go back and make dimensional edits on pretty much everything we do all the time. And that's the beauty of working with a CAD that's optimized to be precise like Alibre. So Jay, lofting. You ever touch lofting?
What's that?
It's one of my favorites because you can make some really cool shapes out of it. I'll just go into my Design Explorer here and delete the things that we've done. So we have our original rectangle here. It'll go into my YZ plane. And let's say that I want my rectangle to gradually turn into a circle over a certain distance. So if I sketch out a circle here, and then that would work, but I want to make my loft a little bit better here. I'll edit my sketch and move my circle just a bit further away. Yeah, I like that. Well, Alibre allows me to create a bunch of cross sections and have a shape fill all those cross sections. So in this example, I have a rectangle, like a rectangular cross section, and a circular cross section. And
Oh, wow.
I've just told the Alibre to gradually change that into a circle from a rectangle, if that makes sense.
Wow.
What's really fun is, as of one of our more recent updates, I think it was version 25 or 26, they totally redid the lofting update and made it so that you can add a lot of options. I can tell Alibre that I want my rectangle path to come straight out of the sketch by clicking this tangent box here. When I click on this tangent box, I can say, oh, let's give it a magnitude of 5, and then it comes straight out for a magnitude of 5, or I can change that to magnitude of 2. Is that making sense so far?
Yeah, you know what I like about that feature? You know what that'd be great for? What you just did? You have a 3D printer, right? 3D printers, you got a vent. You know what I'm saying? You want to, so that right there looks like something that you could make for your window. You know what I'm saying? A vent for your window to go from a 4-inch hose. You know what I mean?
That's a great point. Absolutely. Yeah, I like that a lot. You really could. And then I think you've used this feature before, Jay, but we have a shell feature. I don't know if this looks familiar at all.
Oh, to hollow it out?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it was extrude on that Fusion 360.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool. And
Like
can you set the wall thickness? Say you want like 4 mil, 5 mil wall thickness
you
on
sure
it?
can. You sure can. So if I tell it to go 4 mm, it's giving me an error here because I sketched my circle way too small to exist as 4 mm, but I can maybe say 0.5 millimeter
Yeah.
with how I made my sketch, and yeah, it's able to hollow it out at a specific wall thickness.
Well, that's very cool.
So yeah, we've made your new 3D printing duct that's probably way too small. There we go. Oh, and it looks like I've lost my camera feed here. Let me see if I can get that back. No problem on my end. I'm gonna stop my camera feed, if you don't mind, just so I can get a camera feed over here. Yeah, it looks like my camera overheated.
Overheated. You need to print that duck out and get some cool air.
All right, I think I got my camera feed. That's probably very advisable to get some cooler air on my camera. All right, perfect. Yep, that's working again. Let's hope that stays cool. Well, super. So that's lofting, right? You can make all kinds of interesting shapes just by sketching out a whole bunch of cross sections and connecting them together with a loft.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Say I'm designing something like this, right?
Yep.
And say the rectangle part, I'm just shooting numbers, okay? Say 3 inches away from that, you know, I want it to step down in size to like, say half the size of what it is by like half-inch wide. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, is it maybe we would continue on from this point and have it get smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly can do that. For simplicity here, I'll delete my loft. And we want to add another cross section that has it be smaller, of course. So I'll highlight my XY plane and I'll create a new plane. So I'll go over here and there's a button that says plane on it. And then I'll give it a distance, I don't know what makes sense, 1 inch away or, whatever I'd like. And I can reverse that so it's on the other side. And then I can make another sketch on my new plane. And maybe I'd like it to be everything the exact same except a little bit smaller. I can reference off of this sketch that I've already made. So I'll go to Project right here. And Project is when we want to import things into our sketch. So I'll import, there it is, that sketch. There we go. We want to import sketch 2. And I'll say that I want it to come in as a reference, right? Those dotted lines, so that it's not actually a sketch figure, it's just a reference. And I'll say that I'll tell it not to move. Maintain association means don't move around. And there I've got a nice little reference of that sketch. If that is that making sense so far?
I'm trying to follow. It's a lot to take in. Remember, I'm
It sure
new.
is. It sure is. Yeah, basically I'm saying, I want to have a rectangle that matches this one that I've already drawn, maybe just be a bit smaller.
Okay.
And so let's say that I want to use this thing that I've already sketched as a reference, right? As something that I can use to refer off of. So I'll say that I'm going to project sketch 2. And when I do, I get some lines that cover the sketch that I've made. And that way I can use that to make my new rectangle. There we go. So what I'll do is I'll just say, oh, you know what, offset. Let's say that I want my new rectangle to be 0.1 inches smaller, right? Well, now my new sketch references my old sketch, and it's a distance of 0.1 offset. So I was able to reduce the size on all sides by 0.1. Does that tool kind of make sense?
Yeah, well, that's very cool.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Let me ask you a question. All right,
Sure
so
thing.
say we're at this point now where we did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say to myself, well, you know what? I want to bevel the edges.
Yeah,
that
good
something-
question.
You know,
100%. So we have these tools known as fillet and chamfer. People often call
Okay.
it chamfer. I had a professor in school that said chamfer, so I just have been calling it that for the rest of my life. But the bevel would be in this tool here. And it asks me, what do I want to chamfer or chamfer? So I'll select a line and another line. And where they intersect, I think I need to reduce my distance here because I'm dealing with a small sketch, but hopefully you can see that bevel right there. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
And I can apply that, and I can go all the way around if I'd like. Yeah, hey, you've got a good eye for designing here. This is going to be a pretty slick vent.
It's just, things I think of, because when I was using Fusion, it was at the point where I was like, oh, I went too far. I should have done that before. And, that's what got me like totally turned off by it and was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
absolutely.
Because it's like, watch the videos, control this, that. It's too much. That looks good. That's awesome. And that didn't look that
Thanks.
hard to do.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's kind of a matter of just learning where the buttons are and what they do, and then you're good to go. So last time we did a loft, and then I used the shell function and I hollowed it out, and then later I deleted my loft. And so you'll see in the tree here we've got this red shell, and red of course denotes an error. And it's red because it's saying I'm trying to shell something, but there's no longer any solid for me to shell. All right, I deleted my loft, and so now there's nothing to shell, and that's why that has an error there. Is that making sense? Why that's red?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. I'll I'll delete that because I don't need to shell anything right now, and I'll just loft, and I click on the loft button, and then I click on every sketch that I've made. And hopefully there you can see we
Oh,
were able
wow.
to yeah, get that down with your bevel.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
Isn't that something? And
Now,
then I can
what
add.
radius, like the bend, did it know to make? Or is it a default? Can you play with it?
Yeah, great question. This right now is just like what you said, the default, and we certainly can. So the easiest way to play with it is to go with the tangent. So I'll click on this tangent here, and it's asking us for sketch 3, how much do we want to come straight out of that, right? So as I up this number, you'll see that the bend will change. I'll give this a magnitude of say 2.
Oh, wow.
And then I can choose the same thing for sketch 2. And maybe I can give that, let's give it a magnitude of 1. If I go too extreme with my numbers, it won't loft properly anymore. And then maybe I can give that 0.2 or something like that. And there's some other ways we can use something called guide curves with lofting as well, if we'd like. But maybe that's the curvature we want, right? We get to however we want it, and then we say OK, and then it will generate our loft. And that
Oh,
should be
wow.
a great piece of ductwork for you.
That is definitely cool.
And just like last time, I keep forgetting Teams doesn't let me rotate my view, so I get to use the view cube to change the view here. But just like last time, I can hollow that out on both ends to make it hollow like that.
That is
And
so
there we've
cool.
got a really cool loft. Yeah, it's cool. I've made some models of like fighter jets, and it's all lofting to make the wings and the body and everything, and it's really handy to get the shapes that you want.
Oh, wow. Now, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Say I want to know from here to down there how thick it is, the outside.
Great question. I would probably go with inspect, and from here there's a little measure tool.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, that measure tool might have come up off screen. I didn't see it come up, but it might be on some other monitor or
It's
something.
there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think my recorder's not picking it up, but I can click on 2 points, and it gives me a little
Yeah.
blue line. And I don't know if our recorder's picking it up, but hopefully you can see a measurement value there.
Uh, where would that be? I see a blue line.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's maybe because we're in Teams recording our screen or something, but Let me try check part here. Okay, so I can see that came up.
That's on the other screen. Hold on, let me drag it over. See if it'll let me drag it over. Here you go. Oh, nope.
Oh, there
Well,
we
I'm
go.
running two monitors, so it's there. There you go.
That's what it is. Okay, I think we can see it now. Yeah. So yeah, I can click on 2 points, and there it gives me 0.168 inches and so on.
And it tells you
Uh,
the access. Oh, that's cool. Wow.
so yeah, that's really good for really advanced measurements. The other thing I can do is like click on an edge, and then down here in the lower right, it'll say the length of the edge. Or if I click on a face, it'll give me the surface area of the face and so on. So there's some simple measurements down here as well.
Oh, wow. Huh. And it's all from clicking. I haven't heard a keyboard stroke yet.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
like about it. It's just a matter of knowing where to click and, you know.
Absolutely. It's straightforward like that. And if you're a hotkey guy, you can set your custom hotkeys too.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool. What I was thinking when I saw that feature, that would be good for something that if I'm using something a lot, like a line or whatever, just space bar, boom, biggest one, hard to miss. You know?
I love it. Yep. Yeah, we've got some YouTube channels. There's a channel called Ex Machina, and he has set his hotkeys in a way that he can go competition speed with just how fast CAD goes. He's just doing it two-handed, one hand on the keyboard, the other on the mouse, and just flies. It's amazing to watch.
I saw some video where they were using, I think somebody was using Alibre and somebody was using, I think, Fusion.
Hmm.
And it was like a competition, like a race. Who could build this part like the fastest? You
Oh
know?
yeah. Yep.
Libre won, which was pretty cool, and it wasn't sponsored by Libre. It was some independent guy that's just showing, hey, let's do this for fun. Two great creators, and one guy, I forget what the guy did, but it was two people that this is what they do. So obviously they're gonna go fast, but it was pretty cool to watch because from watching both, from what I gathered from it, forget about the Libre being faster, but just the way the guy was able to do things like in a different order that made sense to me compared to with Fusion, where the guy doing it with Fusion had to do this first and then that, then the whole. He couldn't extract out of both sides at the same time. You know, it's hard to explain because like I said, I'm new to this, but I was just fascinated by it.
It's fun to watch. I think I know what you're talking about. The Too Tall Toby speed modeling competition.
Yeah,
That was
it was like a T, and then like the top part was extruded, the other parts were extruded, and they had like blueprints they were working off of. It was really cool.
that is really
Like that
cool.
right there, that'd be cool for like an exhaust pipe or something.
Oh, I think you're a car guy like I am. We've got similar thoughts. Now, especially for ductwork, you may say, well, that's great, but this has sharp edges, and maybe I want to kind of on the fly round these out. And
Ooh,
for that, we have this ability to roll back, right? So I can grab this dog bone looking thing here,
yeah.
and I can move that up. And when I do, it's above shell now, and it's like we haven't done our shell, right? And then I can roll it forward, and the shell comes back. So it allows us to kind of go back in time of how we made our part and make changes.
Huh.
I'll roll this up here. And a cool way to round out sharp edges is to use the fillet feature right here. And when I click on a sharp edge, it gives me an error because the radius is too big. So let me get a smaller radius. There you go. You can see that in yellow we've been able to add a constant radius that smooths that out. And maybe that's really important for ductwork to be good for flow.
Right, right.
Oh,
Now,
I
if you
forget.
wanted to do all the corners like that, do you have to do one at a time, or can you select multiple edges to do it at the same time?
Great question. Yeah, I am totally a multiple edge guy. I think that saves a lot of time. So yeah, we can click whatever the edges that we want are. I think that's selected. Sometimes it gets a little bit finicky when I'm working remotely on Teams here. And then I click apply, and we've got smooth edges.
Oh, wow.
And then I can say, well, now that I've got smooth edges, I want to make sure that it gets shelled out. But because I rolled my tree back, all I have to do is roll this forward, and it reshells it now with the edges included. So we don't have to worry about doing another shell from scratch or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
fillet is a really cool thing to have on your tool belt. Being able to smooth out round edges stops stress from building up on sharp edges, and it allows things to cool down easier because you don't have heat concentrations at sharp edges. So it's a great design tool. Machinists hate it, but
Well, I did that for 8 years. I was a machinist, but it wasn't CNC. It was all manual, and it was plus or minus a quarter of a thousandth was the most you were allowed to be out.
oh my gosh, that is a
making
tight
shafts
tolerance.
for boats, inboard shafts. Because anything over that, you get a vibration. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I am 100% impressed with you being able to hold that, man. You probably had
I
to
had
have
no
some
choice.
kind of
that was double tapered shafts. You know what I mean? The Sharpie was your best friend. That man, let me tell you, that was one of my favorite jobs. That was one of
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite jobs I ever had.
Oh man, you probably had to have a specified temperature just to measure it so that it would measure right at because I bet temperature would affect that dimension at that point.
Well, it was like 2 inch shafts, 2.5, 3 inch was like the biggest. And you had to taper. You had to taper it. You had to turn everything down, taper it down, make sure fit the coupling to it. And that's where the marker came in, where you rub the marker across the taper, put the coupling on it, rotate the coupling. You see your high spot. Then you have to sit there with emery in the lathe, emery it, and then try it again until there was no marker left. Then
Oh
you had
yeah.
to key it, you had to thread it, drill a hole for the cotter pin. It took a couple hours to do, but it was fun.
My goodness. Well, that's really impressive. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of a manual machinist holding tolerances that tight just manually. That's really cool.
Well, every machine shop out there, I know everything's CNC, but every real machine shop out there, in the back corner somewhere, they have a manual milling machine. Like I use the Supermax,
Hmm.
which is the same as a Bridgeport, and I use a Colchester lathe, two of them. All these machine shops, they always have manual in the back because to sit there and, do a program to make one thing or two things, say a part for another machine, to fix another machine, when you could just bang it out real quick, with your
Oh
micrometer,
yeah.
your scale, so they all have one, but it's unfortunately a dying breed. Nobody really does that anymore.
You bet. You
Like they
bet.
don't even cut brake rotors anymore. You just rip them off junk, throw them out.
Yep. It's funny because yeah, I asked about the auto shop about brake rotors, and they said, oh, they don't even machine them anymore. They make them too thin now.
And
Yeah, it's in,
and you know what it is too. These for these guys to try and do that, it's too much thinking. I'm sorry, but it's too much thinking. Because you can't do a fast pass. You got to go slow and no patience and just people they don't want to do it because you know what if you got to walk back and forth to that machine, a couple times to do some passes. Anything that takes less steps is more profitable. So it's easier just to call up the auto parts store. Yeah, send me down two rotors, blah, blah, blah. Take the old ones off, throw them in the scrap pile, put new ones on. That's pretty much honestly what it comes down to because I was a mechanic for many years. I used to run service department for Toyota Industrial Services, fixing forklifts, and but it's amazing how they make everything so disposable.
It is. It is. Man, there's a lot to that. You know, it's like balancing out how reusable do we want something to be versus the cost, and does the customer get more value? Is it in the better interest of the company? Like there's just a lot to think about when going to a different model like that.
Yep. But this program's definitely cool, man. I'm so excited. Like my wheels are turning right now.
There's a lot to think
Yeah.
about for sure. I can show you another feature here. If you don't mind, I'll just open a new part.
Yeah.
So if you need to have like screw threads or maybe make a spring, right, that kind of spirally stuff, there's a tool for that. I'll make a spring here. And so, yep, made a circle just on a plane, right? And then I can go to Helix. And it asks me what my axis is. It recognizes the sketch that I just made. And so I'll change view and go to this axis that runs vertically. If I can select it, there we go. And it makes a spring, and then we can choose how to define the spring, right? Do we want to tell it the number of revolutions and what height, or the height and the pitch, or the revolution of the pitch? I'll go with height and revolution. Maybe I want a 12-inch tall spring that revolves 4 times around, and then it makes a spring for me.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If I wanted to make, say, like a throttle body spacer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see those? How it's got like a spiral inside.
Yes, I think so.
It's like a vortex. It creates like a vortex for the air. So
Yep.
could you make a part, and then would you use like that spring style to go on the inside to create that, or would you like thread it or something?
Yeah, I think that's a great question.
Like for example, that say that intake you just made, right?
Yep.
Would you be able to incorporate that helix into it where it would follow the whole flow of the piece and actually put that inside it?
Yeah, the short answer is not with the Helix tool.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm trying to think how I can incorporate, the helix tool into other things.
yeah, you bet. But if you mention like a throttle body, right, that's a really cool application. I would sketch out. You'll have to pardon my simple, overly simple throttle body,
It's all right.
but I haven't covered dimensions in this video, and that is very important to cover. So let's say that I want to tell Alibre what size I want to make things, right? Because I can click and drag, and this can be all kinds of sizes. I'll click on this dimension button, and I can say, oh, I want this to be 3 inches. Probably a huge throttle body, and by clicking and placing some things, then you'll notice that the sketch changes color. So we have a black circle, and a black means that Alibre knows exactly where this belongs and it's fully defined. We have orange, which Alibre says, I know the length, but I don't know the position of what it should be. And then you have red, which means Alibre says, I have no idea where this line belongs. And so we have certain things like constraints, right? I have this horizontal right here. And if I click on horizontal and I click on a line, then Alibre makes sure that that line is horizontal. And then it just says, okay, well, I can click and drag and see where Alibre doesn't know where things belong and give it another dimension to fully define it. Is that making sense so far?
Yeah, no, yeah. And it
Perfect.
centers it automatically, huh?
Yes, I chose a rectangle by center feature, so since I clicked on the origin, it knew exactly where that center of that rectangle went. And very astute of you to notice, might I add.
Throttle bodies years ago when I was younger. I wanted a throttle body space, but they're so expensive. I actually took a cutting board and made one. But with this, man, you get this program. It's so easy, and you get yourself a 3D printer. You could just boom. Oh my God, it's wow.
Exactly. maybe this is our throttle body spacer, and I don't know if you want to taper it down so it's kind of a cone shape, but extrudes let you
Yeah, like
have
a
this
velocity
drafting go right
stack or
here.
something.
Yep, exactly. And so we can draft the entire extrusion, and you can tell I made that wall too thin, so it tapers down into a knife edge, but we can draft it, like what you said for a velocity stack, and I'll give this a little bit more length, right? Maybe I'll make this 4 so it doesn't go down to a
Oh
knife
wow.
edge.
Oh wow, that's so cool how you can change it that easy.
Isn't that great? Yeah. So you can definitely use our history tree to an advantage there. And then you mentioned, how do we incorporate a spiral on this, especially because we've got a taper on it?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. I'll sketch on this face here. And maybe I'll, just for simplicity, just add a little circular feature right here. And maybe I want the center of my circle to intersect with this edge. Well, we want to reference off of that edge, right? So I'll go back to my project, and I've got that edge highlighted. I'll just tell it to be a reference figure and not move around. And now I've got a little dotted circle so I can reference off of that edge. That's how the project works, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll tell the center of the circle to line right up with that edge. That's known as my coincident constraint. So I grab a coincident and I select a little point and a line, and it lines it up. So now I just tell it, oh, you know what? Maybe I want my spiral feature to have a diameter of 0.25, right? And then I want to do a helix. Oh, and I'm always trying to adjust my view to use my left-right, but Teams doesn't like that, so I have to use my view cube. I'll go with... oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so I don't want people to think that it's the software. It's because of TeamView.
Yeah, I love when I can blame Microsoft. That's my favorite.
Oh
So
wow, look at that.
there's a spiral. I, of course, want it to go in the other direction. And then I'm going to take a quick measurement here. I'm going to select this face, and then I'll hold shift and select this face. With these two faces selected, in the lower right, it's showing me the distance
Oh
between the
wow.
two. And so I remember now I extruded it to 5 inches. I needed that measurement. But I'll grab my helix, grab my sketch, and then I'll go with my axis, right? I select that axis. We'll reverse, and then I'll say, yeah, I want it to have a height of 5. But because we're tapered, I can't adjust the view. Oh, I can do the view cube right there, right? Our feature slowly starts to fade away because of that taper. But fortunately, I've
Yeah.
got a taper right here on my helix, and so I can give it a 2-degree taper, and then the helix should follow that pretty well. I think I have to taper it to -2. There we go. And so now we've got
Oh
a
wow.
helix that can taper right with our throttle body. But we'd say, oh, you know what? We've got one vein. We need more. And that's where we have another tool that I can tell you about. I can say, I want to pattern this around the inside of my throttle body. And so I can choose a circular pattern from my option right here. And it's saying, great, you want to pattern your helical boss. Maybe you want to pattern it 4 times. I'll choose the center axis here. And now it
Oh
gives
wow.
me 4 patterns, one at every 90 degrees. And I can turn that up to be 5, or maybe take it down to 3, whatever I think is best. So I can replicate this pattern as much as I'd like.
Dude, where was this software years ago? Oh my God,
Uh,
my days of sitting there with a Dremel and
Isn't that fun? Uh, and then I can change the draw style if I want to see on the inside of it to make sure I've got a good spiral on the inside. But Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun to make a spiral throttle body like that.
And then you could put the bolt holes in, whatever. If you know, that is so cool.
Exactly.
That
Yeah, if
wow.
you're we have a hole tool right here.
Oh,
So yeah, you certainly can draw a circle and extrude it, but sometimes it's a lot easier to use the
oh,
hole
look at that! It's
tool.
got countersink and everything, huh?
It does. Yep. You were already ahead of me. I love my counter bores. They're my favorite. But I can say, you know what? I want to do this for maybe an ANSI bolt, and then I can choose my bolt size.
Huh.
I don't know. What do you find in throttle body? Maybe 1/8 inch or something like that. And then I can
Yeah.
click, and it sticks those holes in there for me. And then even on the fly, maybe I can say, you know what? That looks small. Maybe I'll go with something a bit bigger. And then I can give these dimensions so that I can, have very precise measurements on my hole.
Oh.
Right. And then what's fun is I have another symmetric constraint. And if I want my holes to be symmetric, I can choose a line of symmetry, which would be this vertical axis running through here. And then I can click, let me make sure I clicked that. I think I did. Click hole and hole. Well, if there's any question, I'm just going to draw a vertical line here.
Yeah, no, I'm watching in amazement.
And then the snaps or holes, or whatever feature that you choose to be symmetric about those lines.
Oh wow.
Just like that. So now as I manipulate these things, right, these holes will stay symmetric around that line.
We're gonna have to put a hole in for nitrous.
Now we're talking. Let's make that a really large one that has a lot of flow. So if we're satisfied with that, we just click OK, and it adds those holes for us. And it can even add cosmetic threads if we wanted to go with a threaded hole.
Do a lot of like speed shops? Do they use this software?
I can't talk towards speed shops, but I know we've got a lot of customers that do all sorts of things, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Man, if you got it, I mean, if these guys can tune cars with a laptop, I don't see why they couldn't get themselves a 3D printer and get this software and start making, their own bolt-on parts. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you got a good point there.
Wow. And once you get the hang of it, it's not that hard to do, and it looks easy to learn. Like I'm taking so much in right now.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I have you drinking from a fire hose. I hope it's all right.
As long as it ain't Kool-Aid.
Yeah. No Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Jay, I promise I
My
won't
wife
have you
said, "Why
drink
do you
any
keep
Kool-Aid.
saying that?" My wife's like, "Why do you keep saying that?" I said, "You don't hear about these cults and Kool-Aid."
Yeah, I promise you, we're not a
Wow,
Kool-Aid drinking
that
platform.
look at this. Ooh, this is awesome. Double click. Look at that. Look at that. That is so cool. Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to
Yeah,
have, and I think
I'm about to go measure up my Jeep now.
you
Yeah,
might need a
back in the
bigger
day,
intake for the size of this, but
oh, I got a cold air intake on it. I got was it AFI, AFE? I
oh
forget.
yeah.
I already got a cold air intake on it. But back in the day, we used to get those throttle body spaces like that because they used to whistle. You would actually
Yes.
hear a whistle. Yeah, it was so cool.
Almost gives you a
Wow.
turbo-esque kind of sound.
Yeah, poor man's turbo. Wow, this is so cool.
Thanks. Now I think there was a box or something that you were working on.
Yeah, I started working on a box in Fusion, and took forever. And then I came to the part where I wanted to make a lid for it, and then do what you did, like with screw holes. And I could make the lid, like, but I couldn't get it to follow the contour because it was a box, and then there was like three like half circles, because I
Oh
want to
yeah.
make something for a customer that those half circles, those are actually going to be where the skulls are going to go. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. I'm with you.
Because I gotta make the box, and I gotta run it through my slicer software to, like, take the skulls, make them like huge, so it punches through. It'll extrude through there and take away the material. Instead of just making a box, I wanted it to look cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, we can certainly do that. So a box that has three half circles on top.
Yeah.
Let me make a plane here. Um, so how I might approach that is I'd go with a center rectangle, right? So I click on the center of my rectangle and
Oh
then drag it
wow.
out. Yeah, it's really nice when you want to have stuff that is symmetric.
Now, is there any way to change that so it's metric and not standard?
Yeah, absolutely. So for there, I'll go to File and Properties. And then I can go with under Units, I'll click on General. And I can select millimeters. And then if you want all of your parts to be in millimeters, you can always click on Set Current Settings as the default settings for parts and all that.
Yeah, click it.
Perfect.
Because
Metric guy,
everything's
that's pretty
metric.
good.
Well, I got no choice with these 3D printers and my laser. It's all metric.
Oh, you
But I
bet.
think it's metric's easier, I think.
We'll adapt for sure as Americans.
Well,
Um,
what's weird? There's only, I think, one company in the U.S. that actually makes metric hardware. It's all imported.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. And this was from I think it was Kimball West. There was a supplier I was dealing with. I said, "Get the hell out of here." This was like 7 or 8 years ago. He's like, "Look it up, look it up." And he was right. It's all, believe it or not, it's all imported.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. Let's put our half circles on this top here. Yeah, a lot of stuff going metric these days. We'll go to reference figures, and I'm going to make this a reference figure here so I can add my three circles, or half circles. I'll select the midpoint of this and just make
Oh
an
wow,
arc
look at that.
that goes into a half.
Now, could you say the one you just made on the right,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Could you clone that to the other side, like mirror it?
Yes, you absolutely could. In fact, I'll make sure that I mirror it well here. I've got this equal right here, and it makes things
Okay.
equal, of course, equal radius, equal length, and so on. So if I click on equal, then this will make sure that our two arcs stay at the same radius, which I think is what we're intending here.
But you can make it smaller, right? Like the ones on the ends, you can make it smaller.
If I didn't have that equal, I sure could. Did you want them to be smaller?
Yeah, yeah, because I want like space in between them, because it's going to be like one big skull in the middle, then two smaller ones, on the side.
Perfect. I'll also grab a horizontal here and just tell this line to be horizontal, just like that.
Oh
So
wow.
to get rid of that equal that I shouldn't have added, I'll click on this equal and then just hit the delete key. And that enables me to make it smaller. Now for cloning it, you certainly can choose mirror right here. This
Oh
is
wow,
to
look at
mirror
that.
part of your sketch. And I'll click on the thing that I want to mirror. And you can click on many things if you need to mirror many things. and then I'll just click on an axis that I want to mirror around, and it generates that. And I'll click OK. So,
Oh wow!
yeah, isn't that fun?
Oh my dude, that was so easy. Like you had to see what I was going through, trying to figure out how to grab the circle and move it, and then the circle is inside the box. How to figure out how to get rid of those lines, and wow.
Oh, you bet. And then I can choose a dimension here as well. Do you know what you want this dimension to be, like the width of the box?
Yeah, I got that. Hold on one second. I got that. I just got to refer to my notes here.
Sure thing.
Oh, let me go find it here. It was all right. That would be 300 mil,
Mm-hmm.
and then the height would be 250.
Gotcha. And is that up to that base of the circle
That
right
would
there?
be from the tallest point.
Gotcha. So for
That was another
tallest
thing I
point.
couldn't figure out how to do.
Gotcha. So from there, I'm just going to draw a line that meets up with that midpoint of the arc, and that gives me a little point to dimension off of. So from there to there, we're going to call that 250. And
Oh,
then
wow.
do you know, like, maybe a radius that you'd make these arcs? Or I could eyeball it too.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it could go a little bit bigger because my bed is 310 by 310. So if it goes over a little bit, it's not the biggest deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Does this look about right, or?
Could we put like over in between? I'm sorry to
Mhm.
be picky. In
Yeah, please
between
be
the
picky.
circles, could we put like a space? Like have it
Yeah.
flat
Yeah.
and then.
Have a little flat? Sure. Just to get rid of all the constraints that I don't need, I'll get rid of that center arc and add a flat right here. I'll do the same thing here.
And it would mirror it. It would be the same.
Yep. In fact, I can just draw another arc here. And then, the way the geometry works out, I made the center of my arc at the center of this line right here. So they would have to be equal to stay constrained. So if you can see, we got
There you
that
go.
equal kind of baked in.
That's perfect. Right there. That is
Awesome.
so cool.
Thanks. I do need to adjust my line now because I deleted my arc. So I'm going to grab this coincident here, grab the tip of my line, and put it right back on my arc, just like that.
Oh, wow.
And then if I start adding a radius, does about 60 look right there?
Yeah, that looks good.
I'll make sure that this line stays horizontal for me. And then I'll make sure that these arcs, I'm going to add an equal here. Oh, and they're already equal, so it gives me this little warning.
Oh, wow. That's even better.
Yeah. Maybe
It's like this
35
does
is...
so much without you even asking it to do it.
It really is great, yeah. And I'll make sure that this line stays vertical to our origin as well. Oh, and I'll make sure that the line is vertical. There we go. That now we're in the right dimensions. Okay.
That is so cool.
So just a few other things to... there we go. And we're black, right? So any beginners watching, a fully black sketch like this is the end goal, because if everything is black, then that means that we are fully defined and Alibre doesn't have any questions about where things belong. So that's where we want to be. When we go to extrude, any ideas on how much we want to extrude this?
60 mil?
60. Perfect. And then I can click this reverse if I want to go the other way, which I think I do. So 60 there. Do you know what you want your wall thickness to be?
Like 5 millimeter? Oh, look at this. This
5.
is so, wow.
Isn't that fun?
Because I've done up to this point, And I have to say, there's a lot less steps taken with a Libre than there was with Fusion. A
Wow,
lot
that's good
less.
to hear.
And honestly, I was watching videos on somebody doing that. The guy was making like an electrical box or something, you know. And I followed the steps exactly, how he did it, but I had to figure out the round part from another video. But when it came to the extruding part like that, this was a lot less steps.
Got it. Well, I am glad to hear that. We try to make things as easy as possible.
Wow. Now, if you want to make the cover for that,
Hmm.
but you want it to sit inside a little bit, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, you want something that kind of goes along a lip that goes along the inside so it centers it as you put it down.
Yeah, because it's going to be a light box. I'm going to put LEDs in there, and I don't want the light to escape from, like the seam, like, where it's going to bolt up to it.
That's a smart approach. Yeah, I really like that thought. I can think of a few ways to make a lid. One way is we can make the lid in this same model and make it like a part that has multiple bodies to it. The other thing that we can do is make an assembly and have a file for your box and then a separate file for your lid, and you put them together in an assembly. Do you know if you have a preference which way to do it?
I guess that way would be better if it's two separate files because I have to print it as two separate things. Because I'll be
Perfect.
3D printing this.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like that approach a lot. I'll go ahead and save this if you don't mind.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, maybe I'll have you save
Absolutely.
it. It's your computer.
All right. So at File, Save As, let me see, Adobe, blah, blah, blah. Go to new folder. This is going to be a triple kill box. 'Cause that's what I'm doing it for, this guy, triple kill.
That's a good name, too.
Well, he got that because he was married 3 times. He's got 3 ex-wives. So. He came out with a clothing line, an accessory line, triple kill.
That sounds like a triple kill to me.
Yeah. All right, so go to that. Then I'll save this as box, and then the other one will be lid.
Perfect.
Now, if I save it as this, it's so we could edit it again, right?
Exactly. Yep.
All right, so I want to see something. So I'm going to save it as the AD. What happened?
Now that you've saved it, I think it closed the file, which is fine. That's kind of what we need.
Well, I wanted to see if I could export it as a STL.
Oh, okay. From the home screen. Oh, nope. I
Oh,
think
it's
it
still
just
there.
another window went on top. Yeah. Oh, I thought I could bring it back
Okay.
up here. Oh, there it
Because I
goes.
got nervous there for a second. I'm like, oh,
It's all gone. Well,
what happened?
you can see me trying to bring it up, but I think maybe Teams wants you to do it.
Oh,
Uh, yeah.
let's see. I'll try it. Why is my thing not working here? Oops. Here we go. Nope.
Well,
Sir.
you know me. Blaming Windows is my favorite thing.
It is Windows. I'm telling you, we got a lot
Yeah.
going on here. So I'm recording this. We're doing the screen share, and I agree. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Perfect. Just had to
All right, so let
minimize
me
the window.
see. Where'd my mouse go? Well, here we go. Here we go. Let's see some file. Export.
Hmm.
STL. Oh my God, dude, that's awesome. And an OBJ.
Yep, you can
Oh
do
wow.
I think you can. Yeah, you can do an OBJ at the bottom there.
Wow. I'll do it as an STL. So I'm gonna triple kill. I'm gonna rename that. Triple box. Oh.
Yep. And then I just say okay if you want to leave everything the way that it is.
Yeah. 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 Whatever it wants to do. Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
beautiful.
Let me see something. Now, let me see. Oh, I got to double click. All right, so say, all right, we saved it or whatever, but I want to do, let's see. So I'm just going to try something.
Yep. You can click on that whole bottom face too if you want.
Yeah, just I want all these edges to have a fillet,
Yeah.
like a radius. So just click on this,
Yeah, I think you can. Let's see.
click on that, and then set what I want it to be. Let's make
Yeah.
it
Yeah, there it goes.
2. See, apply. Oh,
Hey, nice work.
all right. Yeah, it's lucky I know a guy, huh? Oh wow. Now I'm gonna save it. File. So to save as the regular file, so you can open it up, you just go to regular save. But to do the STL, you export it as an STL. Triple kill box.
Yep.
Was that even the right one? But why it's not showing the one that we did before?
Yeah, the one you did before was a Libre part, and since this is an STL, it just is looking for STLs right in there.
Where is it? I'm not even on the right.
I think you're in
PC. Yeah, it went to a different. Let me see. Triple kill. Do triple kill. Kill. Box. Save. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
And then
So now to make the other part, this is how I'm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like my thinking was, okay, I'm just gonna take this, change the extrude, make it so it's thin again, so it's like 5 mil thick, right?
you
Does that make sense?
definitely can do it that way for sure.
Well, what would be the right way to do it?
That really does. That's as good as any other way. I had a different way in mind. Do you want to do it the way that you were thinking?
No, let's do the other way. I guess you would just trace it out or something.
Yeah, what I would do is start my assembly next. So I would jump, if you don't mind me jumping onto your home screen here.
No, go ahead.
There we go. I'll start a new assembly.
Oh, now that's what, combine?
Yeah, where you can combine parts.
Okay.
And then it asks me where do I want to put it, so of course I'll put it right on the origin. And if I'm not careful, I can move this around, so I'm going to hit Control-Z to have it where I put it before, right? Edit, undo, and I'll just anchor the part so it doesn't walk around on me. And now I'm in an environment where I can put multiple parts together. And so what's interesting is I've got this button right here that says Part, and I can actually insert a new part in my assembly and just model in the assembly the part that I want to make.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Huh.
So I'm going to, yeah. What I'm going to do is go to my new part that I just made, and I'm going to anchor that so it doesn't move around on me either. And so I have this empty part that has nothing in it, but I can start building it, and I can build it in the context of my assembly. So I can say, yeah, I'm going to edit my part here, and you'll see my upper ribbon goes back to that ribbon that we've been working on the whole time with the part thing. And then I can say, you know what, I can start referencing my box that I've already made, right? So I can activate a sketch on the face that I've made. And then I can say, I'll project this face as a reference figure, as I've been doing. And now I've got my dotted lines that go all around, and I can reference this. And then I can right click here and say, oh, I'll chain select, right? I'll select this whole inner part here.
Yeah.
And I can choose my nice offset. And I don't know, maybe I want a 0.5 millimeter difference just so that I can have room to put the lid down.
Right.
And I'm going to zoom in to make sure I'm...
So it's going to bring it, I see it's going to bring it in a 0.5 mil, a little bit smaller, okay?
Right, yep. So if I say OK on that, well, now I can extrude, and I have that whole inner part that you were talking about.
Huh.
So I can reverse that. I don't know if you want a 5 millimeter thick lid. I think that matches the wall thickness.
Yeah.
And then I can do the same thing here. Right? Maybe I'll project this entire face. I can select this and say chain select. Did it not select that? Okay.
And that joins the two parts?
Yeah, so what I can do is I've made a sketch that matches the outside boundary of the box. And
Yeah.
I'll just say, yeah, I deselected something here. We'll say chain select, and then we'll make this a regular figure that we can extrude with. And, you know, I can extrude the lid. And so if I go back, if I right click here and say edit part or subassembly, that means that I'm just going back to my regular assembly. And if I hide the box that I made, then there we have the lid with that internal part that we were talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. That's actually, I couldn't do that. That is so cool.
And the nice thing is,
Now,
we pre-gapped it to 0.5 millimeter, so we know it's going to fit perfectly.
right, exactly. Exactly. Now, being that we made two separate parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to like put them together for like screws?
Yeah, that's a great question. If we want to like add screw holes, for instance.
Yeah, so that when you put the screws through the lid, it's going to go into the body of the box.
Yeah, 100%.
And so everything's lined up, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Where would you like to have the screw holes? Maybe one in this corner or something like that?
Let me see. So if we figure we got to put a couple, like 1, 2, 3, I guess 4, 5, 6, 7.
Perfect. Do you know what size of screw? Would you be doing like M2s or something real small?
That would actually be standard, like I think it was number 1. I think there was number 6. I think 1 inch. If you hold on 1 second, I can go get them
Sure thing.
because I forget. Oh, actually, no, wait. I think I wrote it down. Hold on. Let me see. It was number 6, 1 inch.
Oh, beautiful. So what I'd probably do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll edit this lid here. Right click, say edit here, and then the hole tool is very nice. Do you want counterbore?
Yeah, tapered because I think they're tapered.
Okay, a tapered hole like this.
No, I think it'd be more like this one.
Oh, a countersink. Yes, I'm sorry. I totally
Yeah.
misunderstood. Yep, you're absolutely right. And then, what do we want? ISO fine, probably. Oh no, wait. Number 6 is ANSI, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably fine. Because I know we've got number 6 in here.
Oh wow, look at it. It already has That's cool.
Is that, yeah, 6 by 40? I think is a right one.
I think it's 1 inch. It's so that would be so let's see, 26. Yeah, 40. Right on 26, 20. It's like 26 point something millimeter. 27. I think is 1 inch. But it could be a little deeper. You know, you don't want deep. A little deeper is fine.
Gotcha. Just gonna make sure here I got my fine. And then, yeah, I'll show everything. We're going to say number 6 by 40. And then,
I gotta click the other. Is it this one? Hold on, that one.
oh,
That's the
thank
one we
you.
need.
Perfect.
Teamwork.
And then probably one in the middle, I think you mentioned, and then 3 around here.
No, just one. You can just do one on the top.
Okay.
It's not going to be a vault.
Yes, I do have a habit of making things kind of vault-like sometimes.
Now, is that going to be able to punch the hole through the box itself too?
Right now, we're only editing the lid, and then I'm going to put a second hole that can line up in the box on there. Yeah, this is... All right, here's what I'll do.
Yeah, that one we can get rid of. You can get rid of that one. That's fine.
All right. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I always have a hard time deleting my my whole features, so I'm going to say remove face. And then there we go. All gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if you ever have something that you can't remove, that's a reasonable way to go. And then I probably should add some dimensions on these. Do you happen to know the dimensions, like maybe how far off of this edge, or is this something that I should just
Well,
eyeball?
we couldn't go more than 5 millimeter. We'd have to be on center of 5 millimeter, right?
That's
Because we
fine.
made the wall thickness 5 mil.
Yep, I like that. I like that. So maybe 2.5 would be ideal, dead center.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the spot for our other hole. We'll go horizontal. Yep. All right, 2.5. Horizontal again, I think.
Yeah, that one we don't need that one there.
Oh, we don't need. Oh, that's right, we don't, do we?
No, yeah, we don't need that one there.
All right. You know what? I have
if
my.
I see light coming, if I see light coming through, I'm gonna get the Permatex out. Don't worry.
Even better. I'll make a reference line. So our reference lines can usually find an arc. No. Okay, I'm going to make a reference circle. And I'm going to say, you know what? I want this edge to be concentric with this circle. And that way, I know the exact center of this circle because this circle is concentric to it. Does that make sense what I did there?
Yeah.
And then I'll say that this center is going to be vertical. And that's how I can say that, except I need to actually apply that vertical. But that's how I know that I can be like top dead center on that. Equal there. Beautiful. And then, yes, I want 0, right? So it's asking us how do we want to measure this, and I'm going to go with 0. If I make this, I think radius of 35, so we're just going to go 2.5 in, just like that. So that's what our countersinks look like. Are you good with that?
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of too big, huh?
yeah. Now that countersink, that's for that screw. Like it already knows like what we need or no?
Good question. I can jump into this sketch
You know
here.
what? Let me grab my caliper on the screw, and I'm gonna measure the width of the head on the screw. That way,
Sure thing.
that way we can double check. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let me go grab that. I gotta go down to the basement. Hold on.
No worries.
All right.
Hey,
Let me see what we got. Because I can't see it being that big. I'm getting old, man. I'm going blind.
oh, I hear ya.
I gotta put the light on. I got one with a light on it now.
Yeah.
See, so it is. Wow, it is 6. Wow, it is 6 millimeter. 6.5. Or 6.
No problem.
6.39.
Got it.
Wow. But then even 6 millimeter doesn't seem like much, but when you think about 10 millimeter socket, which is the one you always lose.
Yep. we
I
can
swear
always
to God,
maybe
I was
bump
thinking
it up
about-
too.
I was thinking about a good business idea. You know, gumball machines, right?
Yep.
But load them up with 10 millimeter sockets and put them in shops.
Oh, that's cool.
What do you
Yes. You would make $1 million. Everyone's losing their 10 millimeter.
Vending machine for sockets.
Throw some quarter inches in there for a good measure.
So now, what would our options do? Okay, so we got the size. Could we put like a dowel or something in there, like extrude? Like if we open the box and if we made like this, make like an extrusion, put like another circle, but let it go into the wall of it, then we can bring this in a little bit.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Do like an internal bump out. And
Yeah. Yeah, if we, do a circle, extrude a circle, and then we can bring those things, we can bring those screws in more, and we won't have to worry about cutting into the edge.
I think that would 100% work for sure. I don't think we have to worry about our lid too much doing that. And then for our box, we'll just add that little arc for the hole to go in.
Yeah.
There we go. So maybe do you want to go in even 5?
It don't matter to me. It's not like it's a mechanical functional part. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
for screws. It's not,
Yeah, that hole lands pretty good. Do you like the look of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. We'll give this a dimension of 5. And then, there's this thing called design intent, right? Because I'm having to change every single dimension from 2.5 to 5. And one of the things that I could have done that made it better is if I took a vertical and said that these two are going to be vertical. Well, now, every time I adjust this, say, back to 2.5, this hole adjusts with it automatically, so I don't have to edit my sketch as much. So there's a little design intent lesson that I could have done there.
That's definitely a nice feature.
Yeah, yeah. You can save a lot of time if you set up your sketch right, for sure. So if this looks good, then what else we can do is mirror, and I can take my whole
Oh, look
feature
at
and mirror it across this plane here, and I just saved myself a lot of hole drawing.
that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit easier. Then maybe I'll go back.
We lost the screw. We got to put one here and there.
Ah, good to know.
We lost this one. I mean, we could take this one away too. That's fine. Take this. Yeah, we could take that one away. That's fine.
Nice. So I'm just editing my remove face here and
Okay.
selecting the face that I want to remove. And we
Oh,
should be
wow.
good.
And it fills it right back in.
It sure does. It's so nice when you have certain situations where maybe editing the history tree isn't convenient. That remove face just is a lifesaver.
Yeah, it seems like once you learn how to do this, I mean, like anything else, it becomes faster. But it's the software is faster because it's like I feel as though it being able to click instead of doing the keys, you can move a lot quicker.
Yep, yep. And it hits a certain point where things just feel second nature, and like, I've been there,
Yeah.
done that before, you know. I'm just gonna make sure that these are vertical here. So I think we were 210 divided by 2. I think we're around. Yeah, that's about where we want to be.
That was a good guess.
Thank you. All right, we should be well defined. Oh, I need to add a vertical right there. All right.
Let's see what we got. Look at that. That's sweet.
Thanks. And then if I go to edit my box here, we'll right click here and on our box, and we'll choose edit here.
Oh, that's cool. It shows you.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? That's going to create another problem.
What's that?
Because let me think about this. When you do the circle and extrude it, right?
It'll interfere.
With here, yeah. See how it's like half?
Yep.
So
I see what
I
you're
guess
saying.
we'd have to move this down a little bit, just enough so this part is in here, right? Like,
I think I see what you're saying. I was thinking if we add material in like an arc shape and extrude down, then we can put the hole right there, if that makes sense.
but it's gonna be on the box itself. Oh, okay, yeah, no. But what about? I'm talking about the lid, the lip on the lid, right?
Yes,
What about
because
that?
the lip on the lid will run into that extra material. So I was thinking that we could cut out material on the lip on the lid as well, so that there's a clearance. Or
Okay.
even, and I'm thinking there's a faster way to do that than how I just described it. Yeah, if you want to go for it that way.
Whatever way you think for somebody just learning would be easier for me to get. I don't care if there's more steps involved because obviously, as you learn and you go, you're gonna learn shortcuts and stuff like that, which that's
Absolutely.
fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes things on the surface look really hard, and then they turn out to be a little bit easier.
Yep.
So I'm just going to import all of these circles here.
I mean, we could have always made the wall thickness thicker on the box, but then that's going to be cost more for material. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It, and it doesn't need to be, 9 mil thick or 8 mil thick.
I hear you. What I'll do... I'll make a circle and dimension that to be... What do you think our wall thickness ought to be? Maybe... Does that look about right if we had material in this arc right here?
Yeah, it looks about right.
I'm going to draw some big circles. Big circles
all
are
right. It's like
easy to deal with.
It's like when I'm trying to fix something, you just grab a bigger hammer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We call that the Italian speed wrench. You fix everything with that.
So when I grab my equal constraint, these big circles are just easy to click. Deactivate and extrude. And I'm going to say to geometry. And what that means is I want these extrusions to end at whatever I click. And I'm going to click this bottom face here. So you can tell the extrusions are going all the way down to the bottom and they stop at that face that I clicked, if that makes sense.
So you don't have to manually put the depth in.
Yeah, isn't that kind of a nice feature?
That's cool. That's cool. You don't have to sit there and say, okay, we got 60 mil minus 5 mil, so it should be 55, and, wow.
Yeah.
Less thinking. I like that.
Except I forgot one thing. I for a second thought I was working on the box. I'm working on the lid.
Oh.
So, yeah. Let me just open this in a separate window, and you can see the mistake that I made. Oh, no, I was working on the box. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I thought you were. I'm sitting there, I'm like, nah, I think, but who am I to say anything? This is my first time,
No, you got me. You got me for sure. That's great because now we can just add holes on these arcs and it'll be super easy. So we do have an interference with the lid right now, and we can check that, right? So under assemblies, we can go to inspect and say, show me where there's interferences.
Oh, wow.
And then it highlights in blue all the places where we're interfering. And like what you said, right, we've got that problem with our lid. So what I'll do is I'll edit my lid. And I got my first extrusion right here. And that's where we made the extrude that's interfering. And if you can tell, right, I can chain select everything because this is our problem sketch right here. It interferes at all these little points. I'm just going to hit the delete key.
Right.
And I think it's going to let
Chain
me get
select,
rid of it.
it'll automatically grab everything?
Yes, and I think it... No, there we go. Chain select. And I'm hitting the delete key. Maybe you have to hit the delete key on your keyboard. I don't know.
Want me to hit delete?
Oh, you know what? Maybe, yes. I think it did delete. Okay, that's good. This is just a graphical artifact here. So I'll grab this face. I'm going to project that edge again. So we're going to create a reference figure. Don't move around. And then I'm going to chain select that. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to make sure that we are indeed... Oh. I didn't want to do that, actually. I'll hit Control-Z. Okay, so we have our sketch. It's all dotted lines. I'm just going to chain select, offset, and there's our 0.5 millimeter offset. And now we've just redone our sketch that has the new gaps in there.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at that.
Right, so if I generate to the last feature, and then I'm trying to look up underneath here. Right. Our lid now has that cutout. Do you see that nice little arc? So we should have
That is
resolved
so
that
cool.
conflict. So yeah, I just kind of redid the sketch around the changes that we made, and it kind of makes for a quick adjustment. If I go to inspect
I
and
got to be honest. Seeing how, you know, being new and not an engineer, on my end, that when you come across a problem, it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to go back and restart everything, redo everything. You can just, work it out. You know what I mean? And it wasn't
yeah,
didn't seem that hard to do.
little tricks of the trade make the biggest difference, and often they just come by getting frustrated and finding easier ways to do things, but after a while
Oh,
it comes really natural.
I get frustrated. I quit.
Well, if you get frustrated, give me a call. I'll help you.
I'm telling you that fusion, man. Like I said, there's a lot of videos, but it's the way you were doing things, through clicking. That's more geared towards how I like to do things, because all my editing software that I use, it's click, 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 And once in a while, you'll have to
Absolutely.
type in, how many millimeters you want something, resize, scale, don't scale it.
Yep, absolutely.
But that, dude, that is amazing.
Well, now we have no interferences found, so we should have a good to go box for you, I think.
Now, did it put the holes through?
Oh, that's right. I forgot to add the holes. So we got our top holes with the countersinks, and they,
Yes.
yes, and they should go. Looks like I'm running into. Maybe I need to adjust my hole a little bit because it looks like they're bottoming out there. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. So edit my hole. And then I'll make this depth something like 10 just to make sure we go all the way through. There we
Let me
go.
see. These
Okay.
are.
Now our holes go
These
through.
are. Let's see. Yeah. Let me see something. Freaking blind, man. Millimeters. Here we go. So this is 25. Oh, the overall length is 25.33.
25.33.
Hold on.
Beautiful.
Like I said, I'm getting old. I'm going blind. 25.28. So if we go 26 or 27 mil deep on the box end, they'll be fine. You can do 30, 40, whatever.
Gotcha. Now
Now,
I've got. Go ahead. So I was going to say I got some meat on this side, but not on the other side. So like we've done before, I'm going to do a quick mirror to make sure that I get everything here. I have to change my view to select. So mirror that extrusion across that plane. So sometimes it's kind of tricky clicking things in teams here, but there we go. And then I can add my hole. So click on my hole tool, and you said you wanted a number 6.
yeah.
I think our other hole was 640. Oh, yeah. There we go, 640.
You know what I like about this is when I was getting ahead of myself in Fusion. I like how you guys have that right there, where in Fusion there's I forget there's like a link, like an interface you go to for some hardware company to pull that out, like a
Oh,
catalog
yeah.
you went through. Let me see. Let me look. See if I can find it, because I think I took a a picture of it, but you guys have it right there. You don't have to
Yeah, yeah, we certainly try to make it easy.
Listen, I'm definitely impressed. I got to be honest.
Oh, thank
I
you.
compared to what I tried using, and I'm not saying I'm not bashing any software, but for somebody like me that's new, this seems like it does a lot more than I'll need it to do. But that's a good thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can't find the name of that hardware thing. I thought I took a shot at it, but I didn't.
So I'm just placing my holes, and I chose this concentric constraint, and I just click on that point that marks where the hole is, and then the edge,
Yeah.
so that it's right in the middle of that edge, and it'll line up with the holes in the lid. And I'm making just over half of the holes right now. All right, so we've got half of our holes, and I think, yeah, we're extra cool because you got a little cosmetic thread in there that represents, a threaded hole.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Isn't that fun? I love those threads. And I'll simply mirror the holes to the other side so I don't have to do as much work.
There's nothing wrong with that. Time is money. And how
That's
deep
right.
is it going? The thread into that?
Oh, you're right. I might have to look at that. So there we have all of our holes, and then let me adjust
Because
the thread
looking
depth
at it, it looks like
because
they're going too deep. It looks like quarter inch or something.
yeah, that's not very deep. You said how deep again?
I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Oh,
Let me
thanks.
zero this. We'll go deeper than what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I love having that margin of
Figure
safety.
like 30 mil.
Yeah, 30's great.
So I mean, overall length from tip to head is 25.25. So
Beautiful.
yeah, now
Yeah.
it looks like there because I was looking at the blue circles, so it looks like it's deep now.
Yeah. See, this is why it's great to model with you because you catch where I fall short. So
Teamwork.
that's right.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I think that's our box.
I can't believe that.
We can wireframe it and just yeah. I think our holes look good. They're lining up.
Well, I'm gonna set up to well, I can't print. I can print the lid. I can definitely do that tonight. But now I got to do what I got to do through my slicer software and through Mesh Mixer to put the lettering in and the skulls. But yeah, man, this is so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So now, how do I save them to as separate files?
Great question. So yeah, we kind of made the lid inside of this assembly. So when I go to click the
Okay.
save button, it tells me that this assembly is going to be a new file as well as this new part. And if I double click, I'll have you type, but you can give it a new name, whatever name you'd like, and it's going to show up in your triple kill box folder.
So new part. So I guess the new part would be the lid, right?
Yep. You just type lid there.
See, will let me type it. Let's see. Lid. Okay.
Yep. And then if you want to give your assembly a name right there, you can do that too.
All right.
Nice.
Now, okay. So then click OK, but it's gonna save it, right?
Yep, when you click OK, those two files will show up in your Windows Explorer.
So it won't save this the assembly, will it?
Yeah, you'll have an assembly, and then you'll have another lid that shows up as well.
What about the
Uh,
box? Because I don't see nothing here for the box.
yep. So the box is saying that it's going to modify the file to the changes that we made since the last time we saved it, but it's also going to show up at this location with your other
Okay.
two files that will be new.
And so click OK, right?
Yep, exactly right.
All right. So now I want to say. Now I'm like, all right. I want to save them as STLs. Do I have
Perfect.
to reopen them individually from where I saved it from and then just export it? Or can I export it as two separate STLs?
Yep. So I can say edit in separate window, right, on our lid. And so our lid
Okay.
file comes up here. And what I can do is say file and export and then STL.
All right. So yeah, lid is right.
Yep.
So I'll save it as lid.
Uh huh.
Yeah. We. It's a lot of stuff you tend to ignore, right?
Yeah. That
I do it all the
that
time. Like, yeah, whatever, just do it.
yeah.
And then the other one is that going to be down here, the box?
Yeah, that's right, huh? Because we need to re-export it with those changes that we made. So I can just edit the box in a separate window and do the same thing if you'd like to. I'll say File, Export, STL, and then when I say box, oh yeah, great. So you should have an STL of both.
All right, now let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Say we're looking at it. We clicked edit in another window, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say I edit something in here. I do something to it. Do I still have the original one? Because say I make a mistake on this one. Do I still have the other one? Yes, because we edit it in a separate window.
Good question. If you don't mind, I'll just model something real quick. Let's say that I made a mistake here
Yeah,
and I extruded a circle, and let's say that we didn't want that circle, of course.
yeah,
If we save it, of course, it overwrites the original file, just like
yeah.
if we're doing a Word document or something. But what's nice is I can say, oh, you know what? I'll just roll it back, and now my mistake's not there. If that makes sense.
Oh,
Does that answer your question?
so that dog bone rolls back.
Yep, exactly. That dog bone makes it so that you can take the part to an earlier version, right? We kind of started out there, and then we added a shell, then we added this
So
extrusion and
so
mirrored it and so on.
so that blue dog bone, I'm gonna think of that as like the Walmart special where they're rolling back.
Yeah,
That
it's like the go back in time machine.
that is so cool. Now, well, let me see something. Let me minimize this.
Yep,
Let's see. Hold on. I got this. Now that went to what? Triple kill, right?
yep. I love that name. I can't get over how cool that name is.
Well, this is some of the things I've been working on for him. Hold on, let me drag this over. If he'll let me. See like that.
Wow.
That that's gonna be a bar. I'm gonna laser that. Let's see. Where's the box? Okay, let me go to. Let's see. Open. I'll just. So I hate Cura, but it's all right. We got the box. We got the lid. Let's see how it looks when I open it up. I'll tell you that Relief Maker, the sister company,
Yep.
that is another great tool for people 3D printing and stuff like that. That's I'm gonna incorporate it. There it is. There it is. Wow. But you know what I don't see? I don't see the edges.
Oh yeah, that fillet. Man, you've got good eagle eyes.
So let's see. We go back to a Libre,
Yeah, let's see what
right?
happened here.
Let's see. It was this one, right? So let me try to figure this out. Let's see. Let's see if I learned something. Let's see. I got to do the two mouse things, right?
Yep.
So, oops, what happened? What did I click on? I didn't click on
Uh,
nothing.
Surface got
It's a
clicked up here, so
model,
we'll just go back to
right?
model. Yep. Yep.
So we go to fillet, right? I got this selected, right?
Yep.
Go to fillet, and then I put Let's do 1.5. 1.5. Apply.
There you go.
We got our fillet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go to File, Export, STL. Then I'm just going to rewrite over this one, right? This box, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Save it. Yes. Replace it. Okay. Let me double check now.
Hey, you're a pro.
Trying. Well, I learned by watching, by watching. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a whole bunch of all different things I started designing for him.
That's so cool.
There we
And you got
go.
your fillet. Beautiful.
Look at that, huh?
I could have held my breath.
I can't wait to to print this out, and then if you want, we could do this again, and I'll show you what it came out with, what it
100,
came out like, and dude, I got so many other things that I want to learn how to do, and I'm sure other people would want to learn how to do it. It's nice just to watch and to see how it's done. Yeah, this is much better than and easier than uh, other software I've tried that I'm very confident in this. I like the layout, the way it's laid out, how you have all the the features, the assembly, all different. You know, I really like that. Oh, this is cool
100%.
too. Core properties. I really like that. Assembly tools. This is yeah, man. This is awesome.
Well,
This is
yeah,
definitely awesome.
it's a fun software to use, and I'm really grateful that it's working out well for you too.
Yeah, I picked up on a few things, right? So I'm definitely learning something. Hey, listen, if I can learn, what big deal, fill it, whatever. But the point is that everything is the layout. Everything's right there. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah,
right there. It's a lot easier than right clicking and having this whole fan menu come up, and that's for me. Like I said, I'm not looking to bash, anybody, but I find this for me, it's going to be the journey's going to be a lot easier for me, 100%.
well, we're glad to hear that. We try to make it as easy as we can.
So I think it's as easy as it's going to get, and I look through a lot of other, CAD software, and some you pay for, some that are free. I mean, with me, the biggest thing is with the free software, you got to save to a cloud.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm not making nothing wrong, nothing illegal or nothing like that, but still, it's my information, it's my design, my time. I don't want somebody ripping that off. You know what I mean?
exactly. And privacy is kind of about maintaining a sense of self in an increasingly public world, and it's hard to do that when all your information is on some other cloud and you feel like you're being watched.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much you are, but
Yeah.
you know, I, and isn't there there's a feature too, right? I could have sworn I saw something when I installed it, offline version or something.
I'm sorry, say again?
When I installed this, I saw there was an option, offline version for the
Yes.
software.
Yes, I'm not the best with knowing how that's licensed, but I know that it is possible to do, connect to the internet once to validate the license and then go like a year or something like that offline. At least we've done that historically. I don't know what the current status of that is, but there are some offline options because we do have some customers who have a lot of secretive IP, and that's an ideal solution.
Oh, so even more security. Okay.
Yep.
But as far as, say, I take my laptop, I have this program on my laptop, and, I go somewhere, and I'm at, say, my brother-in-law's house, or I'm at work or something, and I'm on my lunch break, and I'm sitting in my car, and I say, you know what, I just want to tweak things a little bit. I can do that with this software. I don't have to worry about having an internet connection.
Yes, I mean, by default, I think it's something around once a month that you'd be connected to the internet to validate the license, and then it's offline between, you know, every time once a month. So it's pretty
Oh,
flexible
that's
to be
great.
offline.
That's great because with Fusion, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Well, yeah, because one time my router was acting up. I had installed it. I was using it. I got frustrated. I walked away, and my router was acting up. And I went to open it, and it was saying must be connected to internet.
Oh man, and you're already
I'm like,
frustrated, right?
oh, dude, like I said, I'm not bashing anybody, but I'm just telling you my experience and my frustrations. So it's nice to know that if I want to go sit outside, it's a nice day, and and my Wi-Fi doesn't reach, or say my internet goes down, which it does happen a lot over here by me. My internet goes down, that I can still, continue doing what I wanted to do with the software. And it's secure. That's a big plus.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And it's nice that I'm kind of a privacy guy. It's nice that you have your own files where you want them. You manage the security and all of that. You're in complete control, and you're not, depending on anyone else and their security or anything like that.
Yeah, this is good, man. And listen, I thank you so much. This is wow. I'm still trying to take it all in.
Yeah.
It's a good thing this is being recorded because and I can go back. You know what I'm saying, and duplicate it because ultimately that's what I'm going to do is go back and do all the clicking, for reference video. Because I mean, you covered a lot. You really covered a
Yeah.
lot in a short period. I mean, to me, it's like I just learned years of experience in what 2.5 hours or 2 hours, however long it's been. So it makes me feel very confident, and I hope it does for others. That hey, you know what? This is something that this is pain. Look, there's always pain to a learning curve, absolutely, but
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, I can already tell you're a smart guy and you catch on to things quick. So I think you're going to do just awesome.
That's because I want to learn it.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. That's how I
So
was too.
look, I told when I went to be a machinist, the guy Larry, he's explained. I said, listen, I said I'm going to tell you something about me. If I want to learn something, I pick it up and I'll learn it better than you. And that means you did a good job teaching me. But if I don't want to learn how to do something and you're sitting there showing me, you're going to think I'm an idiot
Yeah.
because I won't get it because I don't want to get it. That's just how I am.
Interest goes a long
I
way.
don't care. you know,
Yeah.
but this is good. This is very good. And I thank you very much and for Max, putting this together, and you for reaching out to me. I'm very grateful that this is a good American company. And so when I reached out, like I said, I called. I got somebody on the phone. I had a follow up question. I did it through my phone where you can message. They responded quick. Overall, I'm very impressed with the company. I got to say, and I hope others, take advantage of the free trial that you guys have to check this out for themselves. Because if it's something you want to do, something you want to get into, honestly, this is the way to go. Is with a Libre, it's definitely the way to go.
Oh, thank you so much, and we're grateful for you too. We got such a cool video out of this, and hopefully it'll edit up well. Even though my camera failed a few times, and yeah, we're grateful to
Well, I got
have
it
good
recorded on my
customers.
end, so
I might need that, so thank you so much for recording.
yeah, man, no problem, no problem. Hey, I need a reference video. I got to go do a few things, make a few moves. I'm good.
You
So,
bet.
listen, man, I thank you so much for everything, and I can't wait to print this out and finish this project up and show you and anybody else, who likes this video and wants to see it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time, man. We're so grateful for everything you put forward that made such great content. I think this will be a great help for other people who are taking a look and maybe want to see a beginner video with kind of a podcasty feel to it too.
Yeah, man, we should do more. I still want to learn a lot more. I got a lot. Like I said, the wheels are always spinning in my head, dude.
100%. You know what? Find another project and we'll do an episode 2.
There you go. I like that. I like that. All right, will do, man. You'll definitely be hearing from me. Let me get this thing finished up and do what I got to do. Then I guess we'll break the ice on the episode with that.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate it, and we'll be hearing from you soon.
All right, you got it. Thank you, man. Have a good night.
Hey, thanks. You too.